Now on CoastTV News.
Georgetown man taken by ICE.
I was really worried. I was afraid.
Why his family says this isn't right.
Delaware and Sussex County teaming up.
It's overdue. We're really behind on this.
A 7-month study on growth right here.
More extreme cold coming.
Definitely looking forward to the spring weather.
Why fire and ice plans in Bethany Beach aren't changing this weekend.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Shattered glass from a work van window. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. Our top story tonight is a Georgetown man taken by ICE.
The family says Raul Tapia, a husband and father, came to the U.S. 25 years ago from Mexico. The family admits he doesn't have legal status, but questions why he was detained, they say violently, without a criminal record. Coast TV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman is live in Georgetown. Ana Sofia, the family says he was ripped from the van.
Maddie, it was Wednesday when the father and son were driving down this road, which is where they live on their way to work. And when they got to this stop sign right here, they were surrounded by 3 unmarked black vehicles. And all of a sudden, they had 6 agents around them, 3 on each side. Broken glass on the ground, a window shattered, and cuts on the hands after a Georgetown family says ICE agents smashed their dad's work van windows without showing an arrest warrant. Dante Tapia says less than 10 seconds of being approached, there was glass all over.
They were knocking on the windows, trying to get us to come out, and eventually they broke the windows and pulled us out of the van. They pushed me against the van, asking where I was from, were you born here? And I said that I was, and they let me go. But they didn't say a word to my dad. They just handcuffed him and threw him into one of the trucks.
Raul is a Mexican citizen with no criminal history according to Delaware court records. His family says he pays taxes to the U.S. and volunteers in the community. His sons are Eagle Scouts.
We live like an American family would live.
Raul's wife, Beth, feels they were watched before the arrest.
The one dog is very, very vocal and a guardian dog, and she really for the last few weeks has been very vocal outside, barking, but not even as much as she was that day. That day it was excessive. And then the next day, today, 2 days later, she didn't bark not one single time.
Dante says it was a very uncertain moment.
I was really worried. I was afraid. I didn't know what to do. I knew that given how ICE has been handling people lately, that any kind of resistance would likely have gotten either of us hurt or killed. And so I was kind of paralyzed and didn't know what to do.
Now, Raul is in a processing center in Philadelphia.
I'm just really praying and trying to stay hopeful that he gets what he needs. To stay well at this point. And I just keep telling him to stay strong and pray.
According to the family, Raul is set to appear before an immigration judge later in February. We reached out to ICE for comment but have not heard back. The family says they're in the process of hiring an attorney for this case, but they are sure for decades they have been trying to work to get Raul legal status, and it's something they hope to do. Live in Georgetown, Ana Sofia Roman, Coast TV News.
And the arrest is attracting the attention of ACLU, Delaware, and La Esperanza, the latter of which says, quote, this individual was not a threat or a criminal, and his constitutional rights and due process should have been respected. This type of enforcement should concern every person as it erodes every person's constitutional and civil rights.
And all of this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, how should ICE prioritize their enforcement?
Let's take a look at the updated results from last news hour. 40% say violent offenders, 52% say case by case, 0% say recent arrivals, 8% say serious criminals.
And if you haven't voted yet, you can still do that. Go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app, and we'll show you updated results on Coast TV News at 11. Governor Matt Meyer signed this executive order to examine growth in Sussex County. Part of the order requires the state to establish corridor planning areas to address congestion and safety. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Lewis. Brandon, there are also 7 months of planning process between the state and Sussex County.
Charlie, the governor's plan is targeting corridor areas. The county says, like Route 9, where you see all of these apartments, businesses, and condos, are one of the areas that's being targeted. Over the next 7 months, they will look into growth areas and what the state needs to do to improve infrastructure in those areas. The order also aims to strengthen long-term planning and align infrastructure projects across different agencies, and Sussex County says it welcomes these efforts. A member of the county's land use reform working group that looked into improving the county's code and the best ways to move forward with growth in the county says this order includes some of what the group wants.
You need to make sure the development isn't creating a problem for the infrastructure that's in place. We don't want infrastructure chasing these developments. We want them to happen at least in parallel, or for the development, better yet, to happen where the infrastructure already is.
This executive order coincides with the county updating its comprehensive plan, and that plan is a guidepost for all future development here in Sussex County. The county welcomes the state to do it and is happy that it's happening at the same time as that comprehensive plan is being updated. Live in Lewis, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
In case you missed it, Coast TV spent the better part of a year looking into growth in Sussex County. You can watch The Price of Paradise right now on coasttv.com/growth. That QR code will get you there. The special covers how we got to where we are today and how land use decisions are made, as well as what's working, what isn't, between the state and local governments.
You may have seen DelDOT trucks brining the roads earlier today. Here they are on Route 30. Near Georgetown ahead of this weekend's projected freezing temperatures. And despite the extreme cold, people have gathered in Bethany Beach for the rescheduled Fire and Ice Festival. Coast TV News reporter Drew Bellinger shows us how people and businesses are pushing through the cold.
With extreme cold coming, people's plans in Bethany Beach have not changed.
We have a small but mighty team on staff.
Emily Mace with the Bethany Fenwick Area Chamber of Commerce says the cold wouldn't slow down determined Fire and Ice Festival organizers.
It's such a nice show of people who want to all contribute to something again for the community. So it's been really fun to plan, even with any schedule adjustments. That's just how it goes in January or now February. But it's a lot of fun to really see it all come together.
May share that while the main ice sculpting and display events here on the Bethany Beach Boardwalk will have to wait until Saturday, display stages like these are already in place here on Hollywood Street. The bandstand on the Bethany Beach Boardwalk will see ice sculptures. People have started gathering on the Bethany Beach Boardwalk ahead of the Fire and Ice Festival, even with the freezing temperatures on the way. While people collect tickets for the Taste of Bethany as part of the festivities kicking off, Phil Lambrinos at the Nori's Sushi Bar and Grill in Ocean City says the cold weather means people want to stay in and order carryout.
DoorDash does take a percentage, and we use a lot more plastic.
Mike Schoenfeld says he's over the cold and ready to hang up the winter gear.
Definitely looking forward to the spring weather. We've had enough winter, we've had snow, we've had ice, ready to go.
But first, more extreme cold coming to the coast. For Coast TV News, I'm Drew Bellinger.
And let's take a live look into Lewis, which is going to also feel incredibly cold this weekend. Our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams says those wind chills, they're no joke, Paul.
Not at all. And I'm typically a jovial guy, but this is serious stuff, folks. Let me show you where we're going to start off. 8:30 in the morning, we start off feeling like 0, Ellendale and Milton, 2 in Lewis, Bethany Beach, 4 for that event. Then we progress to 1:30 and it's going to drop to -5 in Bethany Beach. -7 is what it's going to feel like in Ellendale. 4 below 0 is what it's going to feel like in Georgetown as the winds pick up momentum at 45 to 50 miles per hour. Then in the early morning hours for Sunday, we started about 8. And then for Sunday morning at 8:30, we're talking about 11 to 12 below at the very least. And this has gotten better, believe it or not. Bethany Beach is going to feel like, all the beaches are going to feel like 11 to 10 degrees below 0, and the winds will continue to howl at about 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. We could possibly see an occasional 60 mile per hour gust. This is just the beginning of just how cold it's going to be.
Thank you, Paul. You're looking at workforce housing in Lewis. It's called Dutchman's Harvest. It's one example of a development that aims to provide affordable living to full-time workers in Sussex County. Now, a new formed group called the Sussex Economic Development Action Committee wants to hear from workers in the community to help better inform growth decisions.
We want people to know that we are talking about people who live and work here in the county, but they may make too much to qualify for affordable housing and too little to really compete in today's real estate market.
The committee says right now the focus is outreach, and they encourage people to share their story online.
A breakthrough in the case of a mysterious metal object that went through a man's roof. This was Wednesday in Georgetown. A neighbor stepping forward says that was a blade from his bush hog mower. State police say the neighbor was operating it nearby when it somehow flew off and into the house. You see the pictures there, leaving a hole in the roof and the siding. Authorities weren't sure originally what it was, and they thought that maybe, just maybe, that had come from the sky. We have more news to get to this evening.
We are just getting started. Maryland Eastern Shore men's volleyball in its inaugural season. We're going to tell you how the Hawks soared to their latest milestone.
We are now under a extreme cold warning, a high wind warning, freeze spray warning, and we're still tracking some snow pushing across the Delmarva Peninsula.
But first, news on the trail. What's coming next in Milton when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
DelDOT just got $1.4 million in federal funding for the Georgetown-Lewis Trail, and the agency wants to use it at Cool Spring Road and Route 9. DelDOT is looking at a pedestrian bridge to help people cross the highway.
Anything they can do to make the road safer for the bike people, the people walking, people like us with their dogs.
Anything that you can add, because it gets kind of busy and it gets kind of scary.
DelDOT emphasized this would only be a preliminary design, no definitive timeline on when that pedestrian bridge would get done. Coming up next, Paul Williams is in the Coast TV First Alert Weather Center with your full forecast after this.
The cold this weekend is not only inconvenient, it's very serious, and if you're out in it for an extended period of time, it could pose you a serious health hazard. So let's take the cold seriously, dress in layers, and be mindful of the time we spend outside, especially if you have exposed skin to the cold. Ocean view, 30 degrees, winds light for now. That will dramatically change actually within the next 6 to 7 hours. We're expecting cloud cover to begin to stay on the increase for us in ocean view as we stick into the upper 20s. Overnight, we're going to drop down to 10 degrees throughout a good portion of the Delmarva Peninsula. And that just sets the stage for the extreme cold warning that is in full effect. And that's exacerbated by the high winds as well. In fact, that's a combination is why we're in the mess we're in right now. High wind warning is in effect for all of Sussex, Kent, as well as Newcastle. That also reaches over towards the Cambridge area where the folks see us there. In addition to Cambridge, by the way, you guys have a storm warning, which means the winds are going to be so strong along with the freezing spray warning that you're going to be dealing with storm-like conditions in Cambridge, particularly towards Tiedemann, as well as Hill Point and Madison. In addition to that, here's a look at that freeze spray warning that's in effect for Deal Island, but that's also in effect, by the way, for Ocean City and the entire coastal region of Sussex. So that's just kind of how serious it is, generally speaking. So extreme cold warning is in effect for our area and the entire Northeast as a whole. So we are looking at a couple of areas of a smattering of a snow shower too, but that's not really the biggest deal. The main thing I want you to remember, icy spots, untreated roads and bridges. Please be sure to reduce your speed. Future gusts. Look at this. By 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, we're looking at 56-mile-per-hour winds. Bethany Beach, where they're going to have the event there, 56-mile-per-hour winds, just to let you know. And we have those crazy kind of winds everywhere else, mainly knifing out of the northwest. Saturday morning, we start off at 0 in Ellendale, Seaford, and Milton. Then we graduate to -7, -4, -5, -6. Saturday evening, we're up to -8. Sunday morning, -11 and 12 and 10, generally speaking, over the entire area. By the way, Monday, not short stopping on the cold. Although Sunday's going to be the worst, Monday will continue. Monday will be the sequel to the crazy, okay? 8 below in the early morning hours. And then Tuesday, we may warm to like 4 or 5 degrees for the wind chill, and that'll feel like relief. And I'm going a little bit further down the road. We are watching out Thursday for a bit of a wintry mix Thursday evening, but it'll change over to rain, and it'll be much milder by then. So tonight, 22 extreme cold and high wind warning in effect. Tomorrow, aggressive winds gust all day long. Then Sunday, wind chills stay well below 0 the entire day, 24. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Yellow alert days because of the cold and the wind and the freezing Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you, Paul. Due to the Winter Olympics from the 9th through the 20th, Jeopardy will be on our sister station Fox 21 at the regular time, 7:30. Same show, same time, just a different channel during the Olympics.
And don't forget the Super Bowl that airs right here on Coast TV Sunday, February 8th. Pregame at 1, kickoff at 6:30, and after the coverage, stay tuned here for Coast TV News.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
On the court, UMES men's volleyball is back on track. After suffering their first 2 losses in program history, the Hawks earned a sweep yesterday, taking care of the Dominican University of New York in straight sets. And they actually are running this matchup back again tonight. It started at 6 o'clock from the Heich Center in Princess Anne, and it is streaming live on DSM+. In fact, every single UMES men's volleyball match this season will be either on DSM+ or DSN for all the matches that are played at home in this team's inaugural season. And they're doing really well. 5-2, like I said, that 4-0 start before the 2 losses. Last night, it was a straight sets sweep against these Chargers, who dropped to 3-7 on the year. And the first and the third set were pretty hotly contested. Humes taken down Dominican by only 4 points in both the first and the third last night. They'll look to make it a little bit easier on themselves tonight as they try to pick up yet another win in front of the home crowd. That'll do it in sports. Have a great night, Delmarva.
We are under an extreme cold warning, okay? We're looking for the wind chills to stay well below 0 for an extended period of time. We are going to be tracking some light snow showers pushing through portions of Dover, but extreme cold warnings really for the entire Northeast. But not only do we have to deal with that, but in addition to that, we have what's called a freezing spray warning, means anything the water touches, it freezes. High wind warning for the inland areas, watching out for 56-mile-per-hour wind gusts around 2 o'clock, by the way, in case you were wondering about that. Our umbrella giveaway winner, Tammy Ganter of Dagsboro. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis, property restoration experts. Be sure you call our weather line. We're updating on what's happening with the cold, the wind, and all the other things in between. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mendelis, and Federico. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast, yellow alert day, Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you, Paul, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more of our local coverage, our weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.